Veterinarians and veterinary technicians may not write in the traditional sense. However, they still write in their chosen career on a daily basis. Perhaps the biggest form of writing that vets will do is in the form of medical records and the SOAP notes that accompany these records. Additionally, vets sometimes have to put together informative brochures for their practice as well as websites or newsletters. And they may choose to participate in medical writing in the form of scientific studies or journal articles. This presentation is to give you an overview of these types of writings as well as provide some possible strategies you might want to use in your classroom to help prepare students for writing in this field. The most popular type of medical record is the problem-oriented veterinarian medical record. Vets use SOAP notes daily to keep these records up to date and organized. A SOAP note stands for subjective, objective, assessment, and plan. Essentially, the vet records all of the subjective data, patient history, such as species and breed, the complaint, how the animal appears, bright, alert, responsive, depressed, etc., and then the objective data, which includes all of the measurable data from tests and such. Then there's the assessment. And here, the vet will go through a quick summary of all the main signs and then make a list of all the diagnoses from most likely to least likely, and then rule out any other issues. Finally, a treatment plan is made. This will include diagnostic plans, therapeutic plans, and client plans. Eventually, they will have to sign off on all of this. Here you can see an example SOAP note. If you click here, you can also find example case studies, example SOAP notes, and a template at the end. Another form of writing is the brochure. One thing to remember is that these brochures need to be written and laid out so that they are understandable by the general public. The American Medical Association suggests that these brochures be written at a 6th grade reading level in order to remain legible. Students can find academic studies and even contribute their own articles, once written, to the Journal of the American Veterinary Medical Association, which is the publication of the American Veterinary Medical Association. They can also write to the American Journal of Veterinary Research. Other journals are also associated here. Please note the citation style is AMA or APA. Some ideas or strategies you might use in your own classroom follow in the remainder of the presentation. These include journals, biopoems, bioacrostics, collaborative work, interviews, and the informative brochure. Several studies have shown that keeping a daily journal is a worthwhile activity. Recording observations of reading, of class assignments, just everyday activities helps students learn how to pay attention to what's happening around them and how to reflect on their activities, skills they will need in their future career. Keeping these journals will also help teach empathy and prepare them for when they have to reflect on their day-to-day findings in their SOAP notes. Many science classes involve a great deal of terminology. One way to help learn these terms is through poetry. For instance, in animal science, you might teach terms using bioacrostics, where the first letter of each species is laid out, and then the student has to use only facts about that species to make up the poem. Students will have to demonstrate their knowledge and will learn the terms in doing so. Learning these terms will assist when they have to prepare their SOAP notes and work in the field. This might seem to be a given, but it's imperative that students be given the opportunity to work together and collaborate on case studies and on shared writings. Some examples of case studies are provided here in the link and at right, and you may decide to have students come up with SOAP notes on these or even compile interview questions, which is discussed in the next slide. As a veterinarian or vet technician, it might be hard to learn how to communicate with owners of patients. This activity would be beneficial, having students write down possible interview questions that don't have yes or no answers. Go back to the case studies you just saw and role play. The more time a veterinarian spends learning about a patient, the more ability he or she will be able to diagnose the issue and then create a proper diagnosis. When creating brochures, students need rubrics and guidelines to follow. Have students create brochures appropriate for clients. Here is an example rubric used in one study. It might be helpful to have students prepare their own brochures specifically to showcase their knowledge of animals or a specific ailment. Use this design and then create it for your own classroom needs. I hope this presentation has been helpful. Thank you.